Ladies and gentlemen, Manchester United have just tied with West Ham. It was honestly a pretty boring game in the first half. I would say West Ham were honestly the better team. There was only a couple times that Manchester United kind of went on the attack. They had a corner that Bruno Fernandes not crossed it, but like he just gave like a sharp pass to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw took a shot, but it was cleared off the line by one of the defenders from West Ham. And the second half was honestly a lot more interesting, especially towards the end. But in the beginning, we got a little counter from West Ham. I feel like I'm gonna say Aston Villa a lot in this video because West Ham's reminds me of Aston Villa because they have like similar colors. But anyways, West Ham is on the counter. They send it over to Bowen, who honestly I think he had a pretty good game. Well, he was actually all over the pitch because at some point he was on the left side for West Ham, but he comes in from the right. Bowen. He crosses it to Sokek, is that how you say it? And obviously he scores. It's a pretty good goal. He makes a kind of a late run into the box and he taps it in. But honestly, it's a great finish. Honestly, at that point, I didn't see Manchester United coming back into the game because they just did not look the same as they've been looking for the last couple of weeks. This Manchester United had a lot of hype built up, especially after they beat Arsenal and Man City. You know, they had a lot of hype, and then once they beat Fulham and then they beat Tottenham, this was going to be the game to decide if they were really back. And to be honest, they didn't have a really good game. I thought Cunha, I thought he was pretty poor, to be honest. He was playing more like, obviously he's like in the midfield, but I don't know. I saw him track back a lot, but I thought he should have stayed up more. And Buemo, I honestly don't think he had a very good game. I know they're going to give him a 7.5 rating because he got an assist, but dude, he was pretty bad on the counters. I said that on my TikTok, but yeah, I just expected more from him because, you know, and Buemo he's been that guy pretty recently for United. So Luke Shaw gets man of the match. I could see that. He was pretty good defensively. Oh, I would have honestly given it to Somerville, to be honest. I thought Somerville had a really good game. You know, it is what it is. I think maybe it's just because Somerville has that really like aggressive type profile of player that I really like. He was cutting in a lot, you know, taking some decent shots, doing some passes, juking some players. That's kind of what I like to see, especially if you're an attacker. But yeah, you know what? It's solid from Luke Shaw. Overall, I think both teams didn't really play that well, to be honest. The first half was like really tough to watch, especially since we've seen Manchester United in form kind of like the whole game. I don't think Ahmad played a really good game. I think Manu played a decent game. Harry Maguire, he might be injured low-key because he, in the first half, made it like a tackle and, you know, he was grabbing his hamstring, so who knows what was happening there. Dalot, obviously he was struggling to lock down Somerville at some points, but overall I think he did pretty well. And then Casemiro, you know, just showing why he was at Real Madrid for so long. He really has that bite, you know, was missing in the midfield before he got there. So, you know, I think he had a decent game. Martinez also made some couple good tackles. Yeah, man, I mean, just looking at the stats, I would say it deserved to end as 1-1. Maybe West Ham deserved to pull it off at the end, but they got caught sleeping in the end, and Sesko scores a really good finish as well. Came from a cross from Buemo, but obviously the big thing that Manchester United didn't win, so now United Strand won't be able to cut his hair. So that's what I'm going to be talking about right now. I first found out about this guy like, I don't know, like a couple years ago. And then I like lost contact, or like he just stopped showing up on my For You page. And then like recently, now that United was hitting form, I think it was after the Fulham game when they'd won 3 games in a row, a lot of people started like buzzing, you know, like, oh, like let's see if he wins against Tottenham. So they won against Tottenham, and this was supposed to be the day that he was going to get a haircut. And nope, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the case. Manchester United weren't able to beat West Ham at their stadium. At West Ham were really just looking for a win because I think they're at the bottom of the table, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're towards the bottom. Let me see the table. They're in relegation now. Oh my gosh, dude, that's crazy. I don't think they were in relegation before. Well, Manchester United's next game is going to be against Everton. That's not going to be easy. Definitely not going to be easy. And it's away. Wow, that's going to be tough. They might actually drop out of the top 5, I'm not going to lie. Or the top 4. So they might not even be able to play Champions League football next year if they lose that game and Chelsea win their next game. The only thing to separate them is 1 point. So that's bad. And then Liverpool's slowly creeping up into the top 4. The top 4 is going to be like insane towards the end of the season because honestly, I think Arsenal's got a lock on the title. I don't think like Manchester City is going to be able to catch up, or I should say I don't think Arsenal's going to slip up. That's what I don't think. And Manchester City, I think they will slip up. Aston Villa, obviously, they dropped off some points. Who did they lose to? They have one loss against Brentford. Yeah, man, the Premier League is going to be kind of crazy towards the end, especially seeing who gets to top 5. I think Man City, Arsenal, and Aston Villa are locks. But that last spot is going to be either Manchester United, Chelsea, or Liverpool. So we'll see what happens. To be honest, I'm just kind of disappointed, bro. Like, I really, really wanted to see that guy cut his hair, bro. Dang it, man. I feel bad for him, to be honest. I know he had like a little kick stream with Matt FC, and I wasn't watching it, but I kind of want to see his reaction to the game, because he's probably like upset. But it is what it is, man. I mean, low key, it might be a good thing that they didn't win, because now he can continue to market himself even more, because this created a lot of buzz, you know. Even the commentators in the game were talking about how, you know, he was going to be able to cut his hair if they won. You know, you never know. That's one of the crazy things about sports. It's never going to be like, you know, a fairy tale ending. You know, you might have to go through those really bad bumps, and then at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it when it does happen. That's why you continue watching the sport. That's why it's the best sport in the world. And yeah, hopefully one of these days, maybe next season, maybe even this season. I don't see it happening this season, but maybe even this season they can win 5 games in a row. I think West Ham just had a solid game plan, and they followed it pretty decently throughout the entire game. But, you know, they weren't able to get a win against Manchester, the big mighty Manchester. And I felt kind of nostalgic watching Manchester. You know, kind of, I haven't been watching them consistently throughout the year, but ever since they won that game against, I watched the Arsenal game, and then I watched the Man City game, and then I watched the Tottenham game, because I honestly thought that they were gonna lose against who was it? I thought they were gonna lose against Fulham. I thought there's no way, but you know, they won against Fulham. So I watched the Tottenham game, and it felt nostalgic, you know, the little like, oh, dude, United might actually be back, bro. Like, because I supported Manchester United when I was little, like really little, but that was because I played for like a club here, like locally, called Manchester United. You know, I was kind of like a fan, but not really. I didn't really know much about soccer. I just kind of liked that they were red, because I like Spider-Man. But I felt nostalgic watching them, you know, have some decent plays in the midfield. But at the end of the day, bro, you just it's not really how well you play. It's kind of just how you get the win, and if you get the win. And if you do, then, you know, good for you. And if you don't, then you just got to keep working at it. But that's going to be my final thoughts on the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and share it with some of your friends. I'm going to have a TikTok posted up later today, so make sure you follow me on all platforms. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care and peace.